volatile describing a substance, that specifically means na yung substance na yan, that easily evaporates or vaporizes even at room temp. Okay, even nasa room temperature lang. Yung room temperature kasi usually is at 25 degrees Celsius. So, kung asa mo karon, room temperature na siya sa range na room temperature. So, kahit walang masyadong effort on heating, on the application of heat, these metals, since they have low boiling point, low melting point, they easily evaporates. They easily vaporizes even at room temperature. That's why volatile metals sila, volatile metals. Also, another properties of volatile metals is that they exhibit autocomplexation property. Okay? Kapag sinabing autocomplexation naman, meaning ang isang metal at a certain concentration, it it readily forms complex, a complex compound or complexes with the most common ligands or with other larger molecules. Okay, kaya niyang makipag-interact forming a bigger complex. So, autocomplexation yung tawag doon. Again, pag sinabing autocomplexation, a metal at a certain concentration of its solution, that metal readily forms complexes with most common large molecules or ligands. Okay, so yun yung si zinc, si cadmium, tsaka mercury. So yan yung general properties nila as a volatile metals. So at this juncture, let us now discuss the properties of each metals individually. Okay, so we will start with zinc. Okay, then it will be followed by cadmium. So for today, zinc and cadmium lang sa ato i-discuss. So Thursday na yung mercury. So part 2 ng volatile metals. Okay, so for zinc, zinc metal, this has a chemical symbol na Zn. Okay, zinc, Zn, and this is said to be the metal present in insulin. Ayan. Okay, take note ha. Yung metal present in insulin is zinc. Okay. Now, what is insulin? Ano ba to si insulin? Insulin, yes, it is a protein. Protein siya, pero much more classified siya as a hormone. Okay? This is more classified as a hormone. So, familiar man tag mga hormone, di ba? Ang hormone is yung biological endogenous substance that we secreted by some of our organs. For insulin, to give you an idea, itong hormone na to, si insulin, this is being produced by the pancreatic glands natin. Okay, yung pancreas natin. Okay, yung pancreas, particularly the beta cells. Beta cells of the pancreas that is being secreted by the beta cells of the pancreas. So take note, the insulin is isang hormone being produced, being secreted by the beta cells of the pancreatic glands or the pancreas. Now, ano ba yung importance ni insulin sa body natin once na-release siya ng pancreas? The insulin, as a hormone, this is very important to regulate or lower the blood glucose level. So, very important siya to lower the blood glucose level. So, very important siya. Okay? Para sa balance ng sugar level sa atuang body. So, take note ha, the hormone that lowers, that regulates blood sugar level, blood glucose level in the body, secreted by the beta cells of the pancreas, that is insulin. Okay? So, if may abnormality sa levels ng insulin in the body, that could really cause a problem. Okay? Or a condition to someone. Okay, so say for example, familiar ba kayo sa sakit na diabetes? Diabetes mellitus. Okay, kanang diabetes. Yan yung diabetes mellitus. Okay, medically termed as diabetes mellitus or DM. Okay. So diabetes mellitus, that is a condition characterized by abnormality sa sugar level ng body. Particularly, ang nangyayari sa diabetes mellitus, sobrang taas ng blood sugar level. Diba, familiar man tawag diabetes. Basta diabetic ang tao, okay, taas iyahang sugar level. Or characterized with hyperglycemia. Diba? Glycemia na siya, glycemia. Diba, imia, ibig sabihin ng imia, blood. Then, yung gly dyan is from the word glucose. Okay, glucose. And then, yung hyper dyan, taas. Ibig sabihin, mataas yung glucose level sa blood. Yan yung nangyayari sa diabetes mellitus kapag ang patient may DM. Okay? Now, ano ba yung reason bakit nagkaka-diabetes mellitus yung patient? Okay? Dalawa lang yung main reason. Okay? Dalawa lang yung main reason. Una, pwedeng ang person sira yung beta cells niya. Okay? Yung beta cells niya distracted. Okay? As in, non-functioning yung beta cells. So, na-introduce ko kanina, ano yung importance ng beta cells, di ba? Beta cells, that is very important to release insulin. Okay? So, yan yung isa. Pwedeng isa yan sa problema pag may diabetes mellitus yung tao. Not functioning, sira, distracted yung beta cells. As a result, zero insulin will be released. As in, walang insulin na masekret. Kaya kailangan man ang beta cells para masekret si insulin. Or, pwede din naman yung problema, yung beta cells, okay. Okay? Okay ang beta cells. Functioning siya. Only that, it secretes insufficient insulin. Okay? So, naintindihan yung difference. Sa pangalawang cause ng diabetes mellitus, pwede functioning yung beta cell ng pancreas, pero insufficient yung nare-release na insulin. Okay? So, lower level ng insulin. Meron din naman, pero sobrang mababa yung insulin na naproproduce. Okay? So, itong unang reason, yan yung tinatawag natin na type 1 diabetes mellitus. Okay? Then, yung second reason, ito yung type 2 diabetes mellitus. Okay? So, kanang mga patient na ay DM, pinaka-common sa ila is ito. Okay? Usahay raman kaayo ni type 1 kasi more on genetically connected. Okay? Ayan. Or hereditary siya nga disorder, yung type 1. So, mostly, yung patient na may diabetes mellitus, yung nangyayari is insufficient yung level ng insulin na naproproduce ng beta cell niya. So, ayan. Now, with this given information, which do you think mainly needs insulin therapy? Which do you think? Is it type 1 or type 2 na kailangan na talaga ng insulin therapy? Which do you think?
Type 1.
Okay. Type 1. Kasi sa type 1, zero insulin na. Distracted na si beta cells, wala nang insulin na naproproduce na secrete. Okay? So for type 1, dito na kailangan yung insulin therapy. Okay? And again, sabi natin kanina, the metal present in insulin is zinc. Okay, so take note. So very important si zinc para mabuo yung structure ng insulin. For type 2, yung ginabigay sa patient na mga gamot, usually ang ginahatag sa ila is mga insulin sensitizer. Okay, kinapaman gyapoy insulin. Okay man ilang beta cells. So ang ginahatag lang sila is insulin sensitizer. When we say insulin sensitizer, yung gamot nagpapa-enhance siya ng release of insulin sa beta cells. Okay, kasi nga functioning pa yung beta cells, kailangan lang i-trigger yung release ng insulin. Kailangan lang i-provoke ang release ng insulin. So yung binibigay sa mga type 2 diabetic patient, insulin sensitizer. Okay, example doon is metformin. I don't know if you're familiar. Sige lang puhon, kung mag-third year na mo, ma-familiar na mo sa mga drugs. So metformin is an example na ginahatag sa type 2 diabetic patient, isang insulin sensitizer. So yun again, si zinc is an important metal present in insulin. Also, the zinc metal is an essential component of carbonic anhydrase. Okay? So, ending in ase, so isa siyang enzyme. Okay? Enzyme naman yan. So, again, si zinc component siya ng enzyme na carbonic anhydrase. So, in our body, ang importance ni carbonic anhydrase as an enzyme, it is responsible to catalyze the conversion of what we call carbonic acid into carbon dioxide and water. So, very important siya in the body, particularly sa kidney tubule, natin mga certain physiological functioning sa kidney tubule, wherein the carbonic anhydrase, iyahang gina-convert ang carbonic acid into carbon dioxide and water. And vice versa, carbonic anhydrase din yung ginagamit, okay, or nagkakatalyze ng reaction mula carbon dioxide and water pabalik to carbonic acid. Okay, so vice versa, carbonic anhydrase din. So dual yung action niya in the body. Siya yung nagkakatalyze ng conversion of carbonic acid to carbon dioxide and water, then carbon dioxide to water pabalik to carbonic acid, carbonic hydrase din. Okay, so anhydrase. Okay, so important component si zinc sa carbonic anhydrase enzyme. Okay. Then, by the way, ang dami ko nang na-introduce na mga metals, different metals. Ako sa close iyaha. Ayan. Okay, so please take note of the different metals already discussed na component din ng mga important proteins, important pigments ng body natin or body ng human, body ng animals, or even sa plants. Diba na ko yung mga introduce na mga metals nga very important component din ng other enzymes, other pigments. So, do not forget those metals. Okay, say for example, sige daw be, i-testing nato. Si hemoglobin. Ano yung importanteng metal present sa hemoglobin? Sige lang.
Iron.
Okay, iron. Very good. Diba? Si hemoglobin, yan yung oxygen carrier ng human blood. So, iron yung importanteng metal present sa hemoglobin. What about hemocyanin? Hemocyanin, ano
Copper.
yung... Okay, copper. Very good. Hemocyanin, yes, that is the respiratory pigment naman among invertebrate species, 'di ba? Kaya kulay blue, 'di ba, yung dugo ng most of the invertebrate species, that is because of the copper. Copper is kulay blue in solution. Okay, what about the central metal found in chlorophyll? Ano yung central metal found in chlorophyll?
Magnesium.
Yes, magnesium. Very good. Okay, so huwag kalimutan yung mga basic na metals present in most of the important pigments, most of the important proteins in the body. Okay, proceed tayo sa qualitative analysis naman ng zinc. Okay, sa third bullet. Ako i-erase sa tanan ha. Ayan. Okay, for the qualitative analysis ng zinc, recall na yung zinc, okay, is a group 3 cation, di ba? Part siya ng group 3 cation. What is the other name of group 3 cation? Base, insoluble, sulfides. Okay? Yung ano ha, yung grouping na based on their properties, not on their properties, based on their reactions sa laboratory. Base insoluble sulfides. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, yung ion ng zinc, it forms precipitates upon reacting it with a sulfide containing compound. Example, hydrogen sulfide, diba? At a basic, sabi dito, base man. So, at a basic environment. So, pag basic environment, taas yung pH. Diba? Kay more than 7 man. Okay, more than 7, yan yung basic environment. Okay, so with this, pwedeng ma-precipitate yung compound na zinc sulfide. Ano yung kulay ng zinc sulfide? Kulay? Kulay? White?
White, ma. White, ma.
Okay, white precipitate. Okay. So again, si zinc, sabi dito, it forms white precipitate with sulfur-containing reagent. So example sa sulfur-containing reagent is hydrogen sulfide or yung sa notes nyo, yung ammonium sulfide. Diba? May sulfide din. So ganun pa rin, zinc sulfide din yung maproproduce na precipitate. And again, zinc sulfide is a white precipitate. Basta tandaan lang, basta sulfides gani, sulfide na precipitate, when I talk about sulfide precipitate, all sulfide, ako in-note ha, note, all sulfides are black precipitate. Black sila are, as in mostly black precipitate except, okay, so naalala yung mga few exception. Okay, so example sa mga exception, si zinc sulfide. Kasi si zinc sulfide, white. Another is si cadmium sulfide. Si cadmium sulfide kasi is yellow. Okay? Yung palatandaan ko dito before about cadmium sulfide. Familiar mo ng pizza nga yellow cab? So, akong gina-pronounce si yellow cab as yellow cad. Okay? Para matandaan ako nga cadmium sulfide is yellow. So, exception siya. Yellow cad. Then, another example na exception sa precipitate na sulfide na hindi kulay black is manganese sulfide. Okay, so manganese sulfide, hindi siya black, salmon pink naman siya. Salmon pink yung kulay niya. Okay? So, akong palatandaan naman sa salmon pink, para matandaan ko nga, pink si magnesium is, akong iyan ha, sulat na ako. Akong palatandaan is, real men wears pink. Okay? Para matandaan ko na si manganese, pink yung kulay niya as a sulfide. Okay? So, yan naman yung mnemonics ko. Then, kanina sa cadmium sulfide, kulay yellow, yellow cad. Okay? Yung pizza, una lang ang pizza nga kuan, katong yellow cab. Okay? So, ayan. And then, aside from this qualitative test for zinc, na addition, it forms white precipitate by addition of hydrogen sulfide. Pwede din ma-detect yung presence ng zinc in a sample using dithiazone test. Okay, but this is not so common, yung dithiazone test. Basta yung positive result naman niya, kapag nag-add ka ng dithiazone reagent in a sample containing zinc, red color naman yung makukuha mong solution. Wherein, very extractable. Madali lang ma-separate yung excuse me, red color precipitate. Okay? So, ayan. Then, for the industrial uses, mag-erase na ko ha. For the industrial uses of zinc, zinc are commonly used as container for batteries. Okay? So, familiar man tatanan og batteries. Or kanang mga, particularly, ang ginapasabot diri is yung mismong dry cell. Yung dry cell of batteries. Yung mismong cell ng batteries, yung covering or yung house ng batteries. Kanang covering dito niya. Kani sa illustration. Diba kung imo ning panitan ang ever ready nga label, kanang mabilin nga outside covering that is made up of zinc metal. Usually, yung zinc metal is in a form, ayan o, it's in a form of zinc carbonate, usually, but not all. Okay, usually, ang form sa zinc metal is in a form of zinc carbonate. So, isa yan sa industrial uses ng zinc. Then, another common, very common industrial use ng zinc is that it is used as protective coating in iron metal or in steel. Okay, protective coating siya sa iron metal or steel, forming a galvanized steel or galvanized iron. Okay? So, ayan. So, sa industrial market, ang galvanization, that is already a trend. Very trend na siya in a production of steel or iron, wherein, again, ang iron or steel, it is being coated with zinc. Ano yung purpose? Bakit siya gina-coat? Okay, usually, ang iron, ang steel, gina-coat na siya karon. It is to prevent rusting. Okay, kung i-compare mo naman yung non-galvanized sa illustration versus the galvanized one, di ba? Much more protected karon ang galvanized steel from rusting, from corrosion. Okay, so again, basta galvanized na, kung makadungog ka galvanized nga adjective sa usa ka metal, usually sa iron man na galvanized iron or galvanized steel, ibig sabihin it is being coated with zinc, okay, to provide protection sa metal against corrosion. Okay. So, yan yung isa sa mga industrial. Common na siya, common use of zinc. Okay. Then, let's move on to the pharmacological use naman. Okay, ng zinc. Okay, pharmacological actions of zinc-containing compounds, very commonly known sila for their astringent property. Okay, astringent property. Okay, so ibig sabihin na siya ability, there are compounds of zinc nga na ability to constrict tissues. That is why pwede siya as astringent. Okay, then antiseptic, meron din mga zinc compounds used as antiseptic. Ibig sabihin, it can prevent microorganisms, right? Prevent infections, prevent the growth of mga disease-causing microorganisms. Okay? Then, antiperspirant, deodorant, this goes together, di ba? Basta antiperspirant ang usa ka substance na agi na siya deodorant property. Pag sari antiperspirant, protection from sweat, iyang gina-prevent yung sweating. Gina-close niya ang pores to prevent sweating, okay, perspiration. Then deodorant, di ba pag suffix nga remove. So to remove odor, bodily odors, to remove stains. Okay? So yan yung, so meron ding mga zinc compounds in general na added sa mga deodorant na formulations. Okay? Then, protectant na pod. Okay? Protectant ng mga zinc compounds. Ibig sabihin, it provides protection from irritations, okay, from itching, from skin infections, okay. Yan yung ibig sabihin ng protective, protectant. Also, paki-include sa inyong notes, si zinc also is an important trace element. Okay? So, very essential siya sa physiological system at minute concentration. Okay? Sa traces man, trace element man siya. So, at minute amounts or concentration. So, very essential siya sa normal development, particularly, and functioning sa immunity. Okay? Susulat ko ha. Very important for the development or functioning ng immunity. So, somehow, yung zinc as a trace element, it affects multiple aspects ng immune system. Okay? In fact, in some of the researches, clinical studies, ang zinc ion, isa siyang immune booster. Okay? Immune booster siya. Okay? Na usually added sa some supplements, some of the vitamins, diba? Some of the vitamin C karon na anay added nga zinc. And usually karon nga panahon, ang ginapalit gid nga vitamins is with zinc. Diba? Kamantay mo. I myself is taking vitamins na with zinc. Okay? Which is true. Kasi yung trace element na zinc is an immune booster. Okay? It enhances immune responses of our body. So that is the reason bakit added yung zinc in some of the supplements, in some of the vitamins. Okay? Kapag kasi uh, insufficient yung pag mababa yung zinc in the body or in our system, it somehow leads to impaired immunity. Okay? So very prone ang tao sa infections, okay? Very prone sa bacterial infections, okay? So that is the reason why nga ilahang na-studyhan nga with enough concentration ng zinc sa body, nabu-boost yung immune system. Okay? So, ayun, pag mababa, deficient state, during its deficiency state ng zinc, it really leads to very impaired na immunity. So, greatly affected yung immune system. Okay? That is why during parakeratosis, di ba yan yung deficiency state ng sorry for the illustrations ha, basing dali ra mulod on. Okay? So, during parakeratosis or a deficiency state ng zinc, usually ang skin, ito yung sa parakeratosis, usually ang skin appears to be scaly. Okay? Mamaknit. Okay? Scaly, thickened, namamaga, then inflamed siya, gahubag as well. Okay? Kasi nga, impaired yung immunity ng tao. Di ba, basta anak ng mga symptoms, somehow, ang immune system is very weak. Okay? So, yan yung reason kung deficient yung deficiency state ng zinc. Okay? So, that is parakeratosis. If ang levels naman ng zinc in the body is too much, kung too much naman masyado or above normal levels, that usually causes metal fume fever. Okay, metal fume fever naman. So, yung metal fume fever, this is usually caused by excessive inhalation ng zinc oxide fume. Okay, so due to inhalation of zinc oxide fumes or gases. Asa man ni ma-produce ang zinc oxide fumes or gases? These gases are usually produced during galvanization process. Okay, kanang sa illustration kanang ga-welding. Okay? So usually ang mga welders kanang ga-welding very prone sila sa inhalation of these zinc oxide fumes. Once kasi ang steel nga coated already, kanang coated with zinc oxide or kanang mga alloy ng alloyed metal with zinc. Example katong brass. Naalala yung brass? Di ba? Copper with zinc man na siya. So once ang mga zinc-containing na nga mga metal, ma-expose sila sa very high temperature, that results to production of this zinc oxide fumes. Okay? And as a result, kung wala nagsuot og protective equipment ang welder, nagay possibility iyahang ma-inhale ang mga fumes, okay? Released, okay? So very importante nga magsuot gid sila ng proper gears or mga protective equipments. Okay? So usually ang very prone yun ana is syempre katong mga go-welding, okay, welders. That's why iba na sila isuot gid ng mga protective equipments kasi nga delikado yung zinc oxide fumes. Pwede nilang ma-inhale. And yung clinical manifestation usually ng mga patient poisoned with zinc, they usually suffer from metabolic acidosis. Okay? Pag sinabing metabolic acidosis, di ba na-introduce ko naman to sa lecture, for previous lectures natin. Pag metabolic acidosis, ang problema is sobrang mababa yung bicarbonate ion, bumababa. Kapag sobrang with zinc poisoning, okay, isa sa mga nagre-resulta, parang secondary cause na siya, or secondary results na siya, it usually nag-occur yung metabolic acidosis, sobrang baba ngayon yung bicarbonate levels. That is why nakasulat dito, antidote is sodium bicarbonate. Mababa man ang bicarbonate, edi supplyan natin, okay, ng sodium bicarbonate. Okay, para somehow itong symptom, okay, or clinical manifestation ng metabolic acidosis ma-counteract with the addition of sodium bicarbonate. Okay? Usually kasi ngayon, pag na-poison ng isang tao, ang titingnan ng mga doctors is yung symptoms. Ang gina-counteract, ang ginahatagan og importansya is yung symptoms, yung nagsisilabasan na symptoms. Okay? So, yan usually. Then, so yun na yun. So, yung zinc poisoning ulit, metal fume fever, that is due to the inhalation of zinc oxide fumes plus the deficiency state ng zinc parakeratosis. Okay? Ayan. So let us now discuss the important compounds of zinc. Okay, so we will start with calamine. Okay? Calamine, or this is marketed under the brand name Caladril. So ayan. So, common names niya, prepared calamine, hydrated zinc silicate. Ayan. So, ano yung component ng calamine? Mainly, it contains zinc oxide. Okay? It contains. Ito yung active ingredient ng calamine zinc oxide, which contains traces. May pakonti-konting traces ng ferric. Diba? This is ferric oxide. Ferric kasi may 3 man na subscript yung oxygen. So, that is a form of iron 3 plus yung nasa compound. So, ferric oxide. Okay? So, ano yung use ng Caladril? Okay, Caladril or calamine, ang use niya is as anti-pruritic. Okay, anti-pruritic. Sulat ko ha. Anti-pruritic or counter-irritant. Okay? Counter-irritant, meaning it counteracts irritation. Okay? Irritant. It counteracts irritation. Anti-pruritic, ganun din. Anti-pruritic, ibig sabihin, for the treatment of skin irritations. Mga skin itching caused by insect bites, caused by chickenpox, or measles. Basta anything about minor skin conditions. Okay, so pwede. Yan yung classification or ibig sabihin ng counter-irritant or anti-pruritic. So classified si calamine as anti-pruritic. Bakit mainly? Ano yung active ingredient? Zinc oxide. Okay, so ito yung rason si zinc oxide. Bakit? Meron siyang anti-pruritic property, yung calamine or caladril. Then, bakit siya kulay pink? Okay? Bakit kulay pink? Pink nga ang zinc man. Ang zinc usually is white. Ang pink, ana, that is because of the ferric oxide that contributes to the pink coloration ng calamine. Okay? Again, ang reason bakit kulay pink ang calamine, that is because of the traces of ferric oxide. Okay? Another compound of zinc is zinc acetate. So, ang use niya, isa sa mga use niya is it precipitates protein. So, once ang compound can or able to precipitate protein, pwede siya classified as germicide. Okay, germicide. Okay. Then, we have zinc carbonate. So, na-introduce ko kanina sa zinc carbonate. Diba yung under sa galvanized? I mean, sa battery. Okay? Sa battery, pwedeng ang form ng zinc metal sa dry cell ng battery is yung zinc carbonate, or pwede din yung zinc carbonate mechanical protective. Ibig sabihin siya yung form ng zinc that is used to coat the steel or iron. So, during galvanization. Okay, ito yung isa din sa pwedeng form ng zinc metal used to coat steel or iron to prevent rusting or corrosion. Okay, zinc carbonate. Then, zinc chloride naman, zinc chloride, butter of zinc, Burnett's disinfecting agent. This is a component of Lucas reagent. Ang Lucas reagent, component niya, yes, naa siya zinc chloride plus hydrochloric acid. Yan yung component ng Lucas reagent. That is why may nakalagay dito, component si zinc chloride ng Lucas reagent. Para saan ba si Lucas reagent? Ang Lucas reagent, more on ma-appreciate ninyo sa organic chemistry. Basta ang inyo halang dumdumon, si Lucas reagent used to test alcohols. Used to classify alcohols. And ito yung positive result. Formation of turbidity. Okay. Turbidity sa solution. So, pag nag-turbid yung solution, that is classified as an alcohol. Okay, using Lucas reagent. Again, Lucas reagent, it contains zinc chloride. Okay, it contains zinc chloride. And for some mouthwash preparations, mouthwash formulations, meron silang zinc chloride din. Pero at minute lang concentration. So, at 0.1%, zinc chloride could be present sa mga mouthwash formulation. So, example, sa illustration, meron yang zinc chloride at 0.1%. Okay? Then, we also have zinc oxide. So, na-introduce kanina sa zinc oxide under calamine. Diba sabi kanina sa calamine, ang active ingredient ng calamine, active ingredient ng caladryl is zinc oxide. That is why ginagamit as protective, okay, yung calamine. Okay? That is because of the zinc oxide. And component din siya ng zinc oxide paste. Ang zinc oxide paste that is also known as, ayan, kana siya, Lasar's. Again, zinc oxide paste that is also known as Lasar's paste. Okay, zinc oxide paste. So, Lasar's paste, active ingredient din niya is zinc oxide. And ano yung gamit niya? Since na siya zinc oxide, ganun din for the treatment of minor skin irritations. That's why nakalagay protective, okay? Usually sa mga dry skin, okay? Emollient, ayan. Okay? So, yan yung mga uses ng zinc oxide. And, pwede din siya ginagamit in formulation of zinc eugenol cement. Ayan. Okay? So, yung zinc kanang idira, ang idira sa ZNOE, eugenol na siya, zinc oxide eugenol cement. Okay? Ano yung zinc eugenol cement na formulation? That is used in dentistry na field. So, ginagamit siya for temporary cementation, di ba? Cement. Yan ang cementation, temporary cementation sa cavity lines ng teeth. Ika nang bangag sa imuhang teeth, mga bagang, okay? Ginagamit nga, pwede ang zinc eugenol cement mag-fill in atong mga cavities or mga cavity lines, mag-fill in. Okay? Temporary lang siya nga cementation. So, component niyan is zinc oxide. Again, zinc eugenol cement, ginagamit for temporary cementation and fillings. Okay? Pang fill in. Fillings for cavity lines. Ayan. Then, we also have zinc sulfate. Ayan. Zinc sulfate, this is also known as white vitriol. Kaya pag narinig yung word na vitriol, ibig sabihin sulfate of a certain metal. Sulfate of a certain metal. So pag sinabing sulfate of the metal zinc, since ang zinc is kulay white vitriol ang tawag. Kasi usually yung mga sulfate of a certain metal, gina-describe sila based on the color of the metal. Okay? That is why sa blue vitriol, yan yung sulfate of the metal copper. Okay? Tinawag siyang blue vitriol kasi kulay ng copper is blue. Okay? So tandaan, blue vitriol cupric sulfate, white vitriol zinc sulfate. Okay? And na-introduce to under sa potassium, yung first compound sa potassium, yung under sa sulfurated potash, component ng white lotion din. Ang component ng white lotion, yung sulfurated potash. I-scan lang ninyo yung notes. So, sulfurated potash plus ito, zinc sulfate. Okay? That forms white lotion. Okay? Ano yung gamit ng white lotion? Astringent. Okay? Astringent, protective. Okay? White lotion. Then, we also have zinc sulfate component ng eye drops. Okay? Particularly Vicin. Okay? Ayan. Familiar ba kanila? Familiar mo sila sa Vicin? Isang eye drops. So, ophthalmic. Astringent naman yung use niya. Okay? Astringent din siya pero sa mata. Okay, as an eye drops, diba? Ophthalmic, so it has something to do with the eyes. So OTC, over-the-counter nga ophthalmic, astringent yung Vicin. So meron yung component na, ayan, zinc sulfate 0.25% and that is FDA. The only FDA approved na OTC. Okay? The rest of the eye drops, hindi siya OTC. Kailangan talaga ng prescription. Okay? So, ayan. Then, we have zinc sulfide. Zinc sulfide, sabi kanina, the only white sulfide. Take note ha, zinc sulfide isa sa mga exception na hindi kulay black. Sulfide precipitate, kulay white siya. Okay. Then, last two compounds for zinc. We have zinc undesyalinate or desalinate. Kamu na bahala, basta correct ang spelling. Okay, zinc undesyalinate. Ito naman, component naman siya ng Pedamed. Okay? Pero this is not available sa Philippines. Ang Pedamed, kung ano siya, antiseptic. Okay? For, iyahang active ingredient, zinc undesyalinate. Kasulat ko inyong i-zoom. Okay? So, antiseptic siya. Ginagamit siya for against, diba, antiseptic, prevent infection, particularly fungal infection. Okay. Example, athlete's foot. That's why na ay tiil. Okay, more on, ginagamit siya for athlete's foot na condition. Kanabitong usually magid ang athlete's foot magresulta siya kung kanang dali ra mag-sweat inyong tiil. Kung mag-sweat, dali ra man gid mag-sweat inyong tiil tapos nakatago pa gid siya, sige medyas. Ang tendency pwede uh, magpanit-panit ang imuhang panit sa tiil, and then puy-an og mga fungi. Okay? So, yung magnana, ingana. So, mo na siya ang athlete's foot. Manimaho din ang tiil. Okay? Then, we have the last compound under zinc. We have zinc pyrithione. Yung zinc pyrithione naman, component naman siya ng shampoos. Example, as in most common good nga component ng shampoo is zinc pyrithione. Kana bitang mga anti-dandruff. Kung makita mo shampoo nga anti-dandruff, tanawi gani iyahang ingredient. Ang naay anti-dandruff activity ana is si zinc pyrithione. Okay, siya ang gahatag og anti-seborrheic na effect or anti-dandruff. Okay, na effect. So one of the component of Head and Shoulder, for instance, is zinc pyrithione. Again ha, anti-dandruff siya. Yung use niya, anti-dandruff or anti-seborrheic. Okay. Seborrheic dermatitis. Ang seborrheic dermatitis kanang over na nakaspa na halos imuhang scalp kay nagpanit-panit na. Okay? So, more siya skin allergy. Ayan. So, anti-dandruff, anti-seborrheic dermatitis, zinc, pyrithione. Okay? So, taken all together, those are the properties and important compounds of zinc. Now, let us move on to cadmium. Cadmium with a symbol CD. So, its properties and characteristics, it falls in between zinc at saka mercury kasi 'di ba nasa gitna siya. Siya yung second volatile metal. So, ang iyang properties in between, intermediate. So, meron siyang somehow properties just like zinc, somehow properties just like mercury. Okay. Then, its water-soluble compound exhibits astringent. Oh, that is why meron din siyang astringent property. Then for its industrial uses, same with zinc. It can be used, but dili gid siya ang mostly used. Pwede siya gamitin as protective coating sa steel, sa iron to prevent corrosion. Pero again, ang pinaka-common pa rin is si zinc. And also, just like zinc, pwede siya used in rechargeable batteries. Now, talking about the chronic cadmium toxicity ng cadmium. Ibig sabihin yung cadmium is too much or si cadmium kasi hindi naman siya trace element, important or essential na element sa body. So, pag naagit kay high levels ng cadmium sa body, that could poison a person. Okay, then ang tawag sa toxicity na yan is itay-itay. Poisoning. Bakit siya tinawag na itay-itay? Poisoning. That is actually a Japanese term. Ang itay-itay. Di ba sa Japanese, meaning sa itay-itay is very painful, or ilang language ana is ouch, ouch. Meaning sa itay-itay, ouch, ouch. That's why pwede din siyang tawagin as ouch, ouch disease in English. Okay, in English, ouch, ouch disease. Ang itay-itay, Japanese term ha. Japanese term siya, meaning very painful. Okay, so ito yung historical, ang history or reason behind bakit tawag siya itay-itay disease. So naa siya pinanggalingan. Okay, so this is a well-documented nga history wherein nagkakaroon ng cadmium poisoning sa Japan. Okay? Bakit? Yung cadmium daw, it was released into the rivers by some mining companies. Okay? Gilabay lang ang mga cadmium traces sa rivers. That is why, syempre, na ay mga poor people sa baybayin, ang ilahang source of food, kay fishes, mga sea na mga animals like crabs, ingana, sure, social kay pero poor, pero crabs. Okay? Pero mostly fishes, ana. Okay? Or yung hangin mismo nila na contaminate na with cadmium. Okay? So, ang nangyayari sa mga tao dun, nagkakaroon sila ng softening of bones. Then, for some, nga na chronic ingestion sa cadmium due to contaminated foods na contaminate na with cadmium, ang kidney nila affected. Okay, yung kidney nila affected na. Then, syempre, ang mabatian nila soften na yung bones, sakit yung kidney, very painful yung mga symptoms. Okay? That is why it is coined as ouch disease. Okay? Because again, severe masyado yung pain nga na-feel ng people there nga na-poison with cadmium metal. Okay? Very painful yung spine nila. Very painful. Kay softening of bones man. Very painful yung spine. Very painful yung joints. Sobra pa sa arthritis. Sobra pa sa gout. Okay? So, yan yung reason bakit tinawag na itay-itay. Poisoning. So, yan yung history. Okay, ng itay-itay, poisoning, cadmium, toxicity. Okay. Then, yung antidote, since cadmium is a heavy metal, take note, si cadmium isa siyang heavy metal. Ang tandaan nyo, basta heavy metal gani nga poisoning, heavy metal poisoning, ang pinaka-the best nga antidote ana is chelating. Mga chelating agent. So, a good example of chelating agent is British anti-Lewisites or dimercaprol. Ayan. Okay. So, yan yung antidote for itay-itay poisoning or the ouch-ouch disease, a condition characterized by softening of bones. Okay. Then, for the compounds, dalawa lang yung compounds na aaralin natin under cadmium. So, this will be the last slide. Okay, so first, we have cadmium sulfate, so CdSO4. Cadmium sulfate, this is a topical astringent for eye infection. So, di ba, mostly, ang iyahang properties, di ba, astringent, yung isa anti-seborrheic, somehow na siya properties the same with zinc. Okay? Kasi nga, sabi sa general properties ng cadmium, it has somehow intermediate properties in between mercury tsaka zinc. Okay? So, cadmium sulfate, topical astringent siya for eye infection. So, pwede siya component ng some of the ophthalmic antiseptics. Okay? Mga eye drops. Okay? Then, we also have cadmium sulfide. Yung kanina, sabi ko, diba, yung mnemonics natin is cadmium, yellow cad. So, the only yellow sulfide. Cadmium sulfide, meron din mga medicated shampoos containing cadmium sulfide. Okay? But kaakibat sa advantage of having this clinical effect na anti-dandruff, anti-seborrheic, kaakibat ang advantage is meron siyang drawback. Okay? Meron siyang bawal kasi photosensitive siya na compound. Meaning sa photosensitive, once ma-expose siya sa sunlight, pwede makadaot sa tao. Okay? Example, nagamit ka og shampoo containing cadmium sulfide and then na-expose ka sa sunlight. Pwede ka magkaroon ng dermatitis, okay, sa imuhang scalp. Pwedeng mag-swell ang imuhang scalp. Okay? So, photosensitive siya nga compound. So, as much as possible, if applied, yung example, yung Capsibon na brand, if this is applied to patient, isang medicated shampoo, dapat ang person should be keep protected from the sunlight. Because again, This is photosensitization. Okay, it has photosensitization na property. Pwede siyang mag-cause ng abnormal reaction with sunlight, causing dermatitis, causing swelling. Okay. And again, the most common nga yellow sulfide is cadmium sulfide. So overall, those are the general properties of cadmium and the important compounds of cadmium.